Hi, this is Camilla Blossom from Earth School, and I wanted to share a little bit about my Sacred Earth Connection online course. It is a beautiful way to make fulfilling connection and relationship with your land. And many of us, because of recent circumstances, have called us to be very connected with our home, with the land where we are, with the close proximity places, the parks, places of nature that are nearby. And what a beautiful time to really make relationships with this land in an honoring way, in a sacred way, a more way of connection and fulfillment. And my own experience of doing this work for many years is that I received so much joy and healing and fulfillment from these type of relationships that go beyond the human, that are ways that we can open to a relationship with a tree, with a meadow, with a river. And there's spirits that are here in these places. There's ancestors, there's fairies, there's a lot of energy that's going on in the invisible realms, a lot of activity and healing. And you may already have been experiencing some of these relationships, and that's beautiful. If you like to deepen that, I put together an 8-part course to help you go through the practices that will enrich that experience, make it more organized and clear, make it more fun, bring in those practical rituals and things to do out on the land in your own way that tap into the ancient wisdom and traditions of those who came before us, and also the new earth energies that we're experiencing now. So it brings together this grandmother's wisdom, this wisdom of the fairies, this wisdom of the earth, this wisdom that we all carry deep inside. So my intention really is to help you tap into your creative potential in your relationships with nature. And I know everyone's looks very different, how they relate, how they connect, how they feel when they're in places, or how you experience that. Some of us are feelers, some see, some have very different perceptions of what they experience. So this is an invitation to go on a journey and really open to some new energies, some new experiences, some new growth and expansion of your own relationship. And not only with nature, this is also the relationship you have with your body and the relationship you have with yourself, and discover more and explore. So the 8 parts of the course are divided up in a way so that you can go through them and do the rituals and practices and experience them for yourself and have feedback. I'm also, for a certain period of time, offering free Zoom calls for attendees of the self-study group, those who are taking the course, that you can get on once a month with me, and we can share and talk and meet other people on the course. I thought that would be a really fun way to engage more and learn more about other people's experiences and ask questions and engage more. Even though it's self-study, I think it's nice to have a community, and I see Earth School as a community experience. So I want to share a little about the 8 parts and how I kind of came to bring them forward through what I have gathered and learned over my own life and many lifetimes, I'd have to say, and invite you to sign up for the course and be part of this new energy. Like, I think a lot of people don't really know what to do, even with their anger, with their energy, with the upset of this time. And I'm really encouraging people to take that energy and use it in the ways of envisioning and bringing forward what we do want to see on this planet. And that is self sovereignty for all of nature, all the beings. And so these are important relationships to develop. And it's not that we want to ignore or in any way dismiss these important pieces that are going on in our world and how we need to take action and stand up. Yet, to really develop a fullness of feeling good in your body and on the earth and with these changes, we need to have that relationship with the earth and um, make that connection. And that will strengthen anything else we do in our lives. If you are an activist, a warrior doing that kind of work, or you're a nature coach, or you're an accountant or a writer, any kind of way that you share your gifts will be enhanced with this. And I do find a lot of people that take this course are very sensitive, tuned into nature, light workers, empaths, sensitives, healers and teachers and leaders, those who really want to step up more and hold their power in a good way. So I invite you to join me in this lovely offering of sharing. And so the 8 different parts of the course, I wanted to do a flow to really give you a sense of how you can work through these practices and own them and do them in your way, but actually get out and do things, because I feel like you having your own experience, whether that's an inner intuitive experience and guidance, or you getting on the land and doing the ritual, engaging with the trees, trying to connect, or talking to the fairies, all those different practices will enlighten and inspire and catalyze the joy of this experience of cultivating sacred connection with the earth and the beings and the ancestors. So the first part, there's an introduction, and even if you haven't signed up for the course, you can go on there and look at it. It's at my website, camillablossom.com, and it's under Earth School. There's a category called Sacred Earth Connection, and there's an introduction you can go right into. And the rest of it is, all the other parts are there. You need a password, so you need to sign up to get access to the course. So the first one, we're exploring Mother Earth relationship. What does that mean? What is that about? What are our shadows as a human? What is it that we can explore within ourselves and in our world that will help us be more conscious and be more aware of how we relate and how we can feel good about being a human? I think there's a lot of shame and guilt and issues about being human on this earth at this time. So we can bring some amends and healing to those places and learn about, what is our experience of that. And that's really the huge step to making any transformation or awareness is learning about that relationship within yourself. So we explore that. The second part is about honoring Indigenous ancestors and native land. And this teaching came through the Native people and how they would like people to honor the lands by mentioning the tribes and acknowledging and honoring these ancestors. And I have to say, this practice is something that's so beautiful and so powerful. I do it all the time and encourage everyone to do it. And it's fairly simple, but it's very potent and honoring. And it's a huge example of how we can make amends for the history of what's happened in this country. So it's a really important teaching. And then the third part is about our sacred body and alignment, especially for those of us who are very sensitive and empathic, like myself. I've had a lot of experiences of learning how to navigate being an empath, how to navigate being a really sensitive person in a world that does not value that does not help you be that, does not support you as you're growing up in it. And so there are practices for how you work with your energy, your system for clearing and alignment, and really be well connected and grounded. So there's wonderful practices for that, and to align with the greater spirit of yourself and how you want to engage with nature. So that's just a general one that I think everyone benefits from. And even if you've done these practices before, I always find it helpful to look at new ones to add into what you're doing, or to learn more, let's say, about the crystalline grid or the inner earth energies, or things that maybe you haven't connected with. And then the next one is about tools and techniques. And here's a chance to learn more about working with crystals and crystal grids, and examples and ways to work with pendulums, to work with flower essences and use them for land and yourself. And also with sound. So the power of these tools for honoring land, and through this reciprocity of what I've discovered of honoring land and being in the joy of that as a gift, as a ritual, as a joyful experience that you can even do with your family or your friends, or your children, that when you do these practices, there's this beautiful reciprocity that returns many times over, right back. Very healing. And so those tools and techniques can really create a lot of opportunities and ideas for how to express yourself. And then the next part's about giving offerings and asking permissions. And I know that's one a lot of people know. It's really simple, but it's very, very important, and it's very profound if you go deeper into the understanding of what that really means. And so I'm going to take you deeper into that and have you really practice that and know what that means, because even that word like consent that is coming in as a very important practice, that is the same as permission. And it's that same way that honoring the self-sovereignty of all these beings, of these lands, of these places. I see them all alive as beings with a consciousness, an intelligence, an awareness, they're sentient. And so for us to work with, be honoring of the land and places and trees and nature, like, it's really important to understand the language of how they want us to engage with them. And so that goes into that practice in a deeper way. And then the sixth part is about cultivating a relationship with the spirits of land. And this is really fun. And I've done a lot of work with this too. So I also have a lot of classes on my website about connecting with gnomes and mermaids and fairies and dragons and the different spirits. And this one will be working with the devas of land, or the spirit of land, the spirit of your home, the elementals, and we will, in the other sections, you'll have worked with the ancestor connections. And so there's lots of different, and the plant beings and the stone beings. So there's lots of different beings you'll get to open to ways that you can align with them, align with nature, align with their communication in an amazing way. So that one dives deeper into attunements and helping you kind of catalyze, because that's one thing I know that I tend to do for people is catalyze them for those relationship openings, for that spiritual and ascension opening, on whatever level you need that at. There's just different ways we can help bring the energy forward for what will stimulate that within yourself. And so this is sort of what I've explored and know and have a gift in. And so I can empower the gift that you have in it as well. And whatever, like I say, whatever level you're at, there's always things we can learn from each other. So a lot of it is transmissions and activations and attunements. And then the grandmothers are really leading the guide for the course. So they're leading us through and holding the space, the sacredness of the space for us as we go through this. And then the seventh part is about honoring water. I love this part, and learning ways to attune to the water, to sing and chant, and how you do that and how that works. And also some ceremonial grids and rituals you can do for water that are uh, fun and joyful and beautiful and very powerful. And to know all these different practices are very powerful. They can seem very simple, and sometimes they are, but they do a big, they make a big impact to the world around us. And that's how they kind of we can feed the spirit of these places and build the energy. And then we feel good being there. We feel good being in our home or being in these places we take care of, because they're fed and they're honored and they're loved. And it's like how we feel when we receive these places and these beings. And even just as an example, I have different elementals that come to me and ask for healing. I have water devas come, I have dragons come, because they get covered up by human imposed energies and congestion. And so to think about that, like there's ways that we can be helping all of nature, like renew and restore and transmute and uncover the gift that they are of their self-expression as we open to our self-expression. And also I know that I think a lot of people that are drawn to take this have, and like me, like there's been hidden parts of us. There's been deep gifts that we carry through our ancestor lineage, from, it could be, for my case, like the Celtic lineage, the Lemurian lineage. Like there's lots of fairy realm or she or ancestral gifts that want to awaken and want to live in a more wholeness. And so this course really helps us become more aware and living that way. So the waterway, and then the last one is to bring everything together and practice to make a ceremony yourself and learn a little more about altars and magical gardens made with the fairies. And so it's just such a beautiful opportunity to honor the land, to give back, and then cultivate relationship with the different spirits of land. And for whatever way that you engage with that, I invite you to join me with Earth School for this online self-study course called Sacred Earth Connection. And you can go, as I say, on my website, which is camillablossom.com, and find out more about the course. And if you'd like more information, please get a hold of me and I'll share more about it. But I invite you to become part of our community and go deeper into this very fulfilling, grounding, healing, and nurturing relationship that we can build with nature, the earth, and all the beings. So thank you. Have a beautiful day.